Hey, everybody. Who likes conflict? Nobody, right? Of course not. For so often in my marriage, in my own life, I would avoid conflict. And oh my goodness, we talk to a lot of people, and everybody says one of two things. When we ask them what's not working in their marriage right now, we get two big answers. Number one is communication, and the one that goes right with it is conflict and conflict resolution and trying to navigate the waters of conflict. Because here is the reality: whether there is arguing or no arguing, conflict is an inevitability when you bring two sinners together, right? Two people living in the same place. And it even gets worse when you have little ones that come as a result of your marriage, because then we bring even more young sinners into the home. And it can get very, very complicated. But guys, I just want to ask you a question. What is possible when navigated properly or in an effective way? What is possible in a human relationship, especially in the context of a marriage? What can happen when two people are able to effectively navigate a challenge, navigate the way, looking at things from different angles, and come together as a team? When you think about it, and especially if you've experienced it, you know how beautiful that can be. It feels like a big win. It feels like you've accomplished something. It feels like you've overcome something. And to do so as a team can be a really powerful uniting force in the context of marriage. And really, I believe that's the way that God designed marriage to be: a place that we would, in the most intimate of relationships, be able to give grace and receive grace. And when that happens, it can actually be a beautiful, beautiful thing. So why is it that conflict is such a big concern? Why is it that so often Christian couples are getting stuck in the area of navigating conflict? Well, I think there's a lot of reasons why, but my purpose isn't to talk about all of them today, but I do want to just hit on a couple of them. I think what happens for a lot of couples is early on in their relationship, especially when they're dating, although this isn't always the case, but a lot of times they're able to look past some of those things about the other person that drives them nuts, or maybe even be able to look past that they disagree over something. And if you think about it, like when you're first dating, you're like trying to put on your best clothes and your makeup, and you're trying to look a certain way, and you're putting out a persona, and then slowly over time, you let your guard down, right? Of course. And so what happens a lot of times is that what early on you can look past is, over time, it becomes things that you're not able to look past anymore, and you're not able to move through them. And unless you know how to navigate conflict in a proper way, it can be really a big challenge. And let's face it, a lot of times in our culture, not only is marriage under attack, but a lot of times it wasn't modeled for us. A lot of times people weren't shown that in their families of origin. Their parents maybe got stuck, or maybe their parents they had a broken home, or they never really got an example of what that should look like. And that's what we hear from a lot of people that we have on the phones with, and a lot of people that we get the privilege of working with. And here's another reason, is that when this conflict can come up, and sometimes it can be like a real challenge, that even if you were in a strong marriage, that would be hard to get through. For example, if we had to take care of a loved one, or we have an impactful loss, maybe there's a sickness that your kid goes through, or there's some other big challenge, financial pressure, whatever it would be. Unless you're able to navigate that as a team, this can feel like a real big thing. And what happens is these issues come up, and that couple, they're not able to get through it. And then it just becomes like more and more like it feels like this big thing. And then it is a big thing. And then they begin to think it's this thing that happened that is the problem, when really it's not the problem. It's the symptom of the underlying problem, that they don't know how to navigate those problems. Because here's another reason why this happens. They don't have the tools. They don't only don't have the example. It's now a big deal, and they don't know how to get through it, and they don't have the tools. They don't know what to do. They've not been shown. Our culture certainly doesn't give us the tools. They show us this picture that if things are hard, you should just buy a brand new car for your wife and then put a bow on top of it and she'll be happy. Life does not work that way. Of course it doesn't. And so a lot of times that's lacking for a lot of people. Then it's not just about the interpersonal tools. A lot of times what happens is when there is conflict, when things are difficult, a lot of people are lacking the personal tools to navigate the emotions, to navigate the frustration, to navigate the conflict, because they're getting stuck. And let's face it, our world, in our culture in America, we are spending billions of dollars on all kinds of therapies and massages and good things and bad things and all kinds of things that people are trying to navigate the stresses that they're going through. Well, usually most of them don't work. We already know that. And we know that if you're going to prescription drugs, they don't work a lot of times to help with these things. And then we know that sometimes if we're going to alcohol or illegal drugs, these are not solving the problem. Certainly cigarettes aren't doing it either. And so people are lacking those personal tools. And then the bottom line, this is what it is. People don't know how to navigate conflict. They don't know what to do. They don't even know how to begin. And here is what I've got for you guys tonight. What I want to share with you is I just got off a call last night with a bunch of our clients, and it was an amazing call because so many of them, one after another was sharing the breakthroughs that they had personally and in their relationship, where the walls were coming down, that they had the tools, that they were equipped. One couple that was just finishing up, they were sharing, like, we had no idea. And just a few months ago, like, things looked so bleak, so dark. And now with their little kids at home, they're so excited about the future because they've learned how to navigate conflict in a powerful way. So what I have for you, and this is really exciting, is coming up tomorrow night is our one. This is only first. We've only done 2 workshops, and this is the first time offering for this one called Turning Conflict Around. This is going to be tomorrow night at 8 p.m. It's only $149, and you can sign up at turnaroundmarriage.com/workshop. And this is going to be so powerful for many of you. This is going to be powerful for you to learn how to show up differently. We're going to give some real practical strategies, both in terms of your relationship, interpersonally, but practical strategies even for you personally. And then we're going to give you guys some massive personal breakthroughs for you, for your relationship, on how to look at things different, how to navigate conflict, and truly how to turn it around so that it doesn't have to be something that you're afraid of, but something that instead you're equipped for, that in some ways you can actually maybe not look forward to it, but know that when it does come, it's actually going to be an opportunity for connection, exactly the way God designed it. And this is why we're doing it, guys. We are compacting so much of the teaching that we do, so much of what we do with our clients into a short call. We're going to fire hose, shoot this, a ton of powerful information and strategies to give to you all in that short amount of time. And the reason that we're doing that is because we know that this is going to help you, so many of you, to look at things very differently, personally and in your marriage. And it's going to give you the tools that you need. But for some of you, it's going to feel like, oh my goodness, this hour and a half to 2 hours has been so impactful for me that I can understand that, wow, it can be so much different between the two of us, that you might actually think what might be possible if we move forward and get even further help. And we can talk about that tomorrow night on that call. But guys, this is going to be so impactful. You're not going to want to miss this. Turnaroundmarriage.com/workshop. And we're going to show you the power of being able to look at conflict in a very different light, much more in alignment, I think, with what God has in his heart for us. Till next time, we'll talk soon.